beer, sports. Join Sean and Brad as they talk about sports and share a beer. From the east coast of Canada to the west coast of the United States. Over to you, boys.
Everybody, what's happening? What's good with you? Sean and Brad, Guys Beer Sports, joined today by our friend Andy Mahoney. Andy's here to talk all kinds of fun things, so we'll get into that. Bodega Brawl coming soon, September 10th. Portland Comic Con, you can find it. After that, worldwide release. It's going to be the juggernaut of the board game industry, so strap on and go. You heard it here first, so let's go. Fellas, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. How you doing?
Great, doing great.
I'm feeling good, man. I got some high energy. I have a lot of things to talk about this morning. I'm glad Andy's here because it's going to tie in with a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sean was watching old WWE highlights before he got on, apparently. So this should be interesting. Let's buckle up.
That's the way it is. Yeah. First off, hey, shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah. Flowers Brewery, always good for a good pint and good beer. Beers to go. You get cans to go these days too if you want. So if you're not into eating in or eating out, and grab a beer, you grab a growler, canned beer, all the great things. Go see Tony and those friends. Corner of Whidbey and 20 in Oak Harbor. It's a great spot. You get good food there too. Open hours. With football season here, not a better spot to watch a game. So check those guys out. And then of course our friends Bodega Brawl. We'll let Andy get into his deal with what that means here soon. But we appreciate you guys' support, Andy. So thanks for believing in us. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Big shout out to Smooth My Balls. That's right, winter's here, but hey, still got to get.
Listen, winter is not here based on your wardrobe choice one, and also it's early September.
Well, it's coming, as Jon Snow would say.
Maybe in the Great North, it's always winter. Maybe that's the thing, but
we are a special.
Doesn't change. The message doesn't change. Grooming is important. So whether you're in your long johns or you're in your short shorts, or in Sean's case, both. It's always important to stay groomed. So check our friends out.
Hey, one of the
get the promo code, Sean. You got to give them the promo code.
Yes, www.smoothmyballs/guysbeersports. Save 15% on all your grooming needs. All right. Now that we got all that out of the way, Andy, I am so excited to have you on this episode here to be talking about Bodega Brawl. We're going to hear all of that. We're going to get into all that good stuff. But I have just a bone of contention right now that I wanted to bring up. And it really ties in very nicely with your game, with combat sports, the whole nine, okay? And then you see these people training and fighting and trying to get themselves recognized. But then you have two brothers that are just walking around because they have a YouTube channel that they have decided that they now are boxers. Logan fights Floyd Mayweather Jr. in a no knockout situation. So of course it's going to be a draw because they're just going to play patty cake with each other. And then you have Jake Paul, who is still yet not fought a boxer. He's purposely picking wrestlers and basketball players while he's getting all this great training. And I will give him kudos that he's taken his own branding, his own audience, and has monetized it even more so in order to push his agenda. But I would love for him, if he is a boxer, to box a boxer. What about a Diaz brother? Well, of course, Dana White will not allow that.
Listen, I don't know which one of the brothers is which. I don't care that much. I can't believe we're even talking about this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I am talking about it. You want to know why? Because last weekend, he fights Tyron Woodley. Yeah. Tyron Woodley loses by decision he's a wrestler.
Yes.
He's a wrestler.
Listen, it's all
and
for money.
He's making a disgrace of combat sports. He's there, he walks in back asswards and decides to go out there against Dana White and says to everybody, oh, look at me, the way that I pay my guys. Oh, look at the way this is. I mean, we made way more money than any of your guys. And that might be true. But it's very easy in order to keep that freight train going when you're just there and you are completely not fighting somebody that is a boxer. If you want to say that you're in some sort of combat sport, then fight the man as an MMA person. Go play one-on-one with a basketball player, but do not call yourself a boxer. Keep going out there and boxing.
Epic.
Yeah.
He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace to combat sports.
Who's a disgrace exactly?
That's that Jake Paul character.
Oh, okay. And the other brother, what's his name?
Logan Paul.
Okay.
Logan and Jake.
Yeah.
But isn't Tyrone just as responsible for this, and Ben Askren and everybody else?
Probably more so. But.
Can you and Floyd as well.
And, yeah, all the people who are willing to fight him.
Yeah. Because you want to know why that's also, I mean, this whole entire sense of entitlement that all of a sudden, I need to get paid. I need this to happen. Da, 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 da. Dana White, we all know some of these guys are on the undercards. Some of these guys that are just in the mid rounds, they're not making a whole ton of money. After you're done with taxes and you're paying your corners, you're not making a whole ton of money. That's why people are headhunting. That's why people are trying to go for the performance of the night to make that 50,000 additional. Okay, but you cannot sit there and all of a sudden say, like what Jake Paul's going out saying and tweeting, that this guy is just like a slave owner, pretty much is what he's almost coming out and saying, because he's not paying his guys. Right? The thing is that you've walked into this, you've monetized it. People there are actually, like, there's boxers there that he can actually challenge. 3-0, 4-0 coming up, but they're not going to make him any money. He knows that. Or he's going to lose.
Well, he doesn't want to be a boxer. He wants to be famous.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I had.
Right there. Right.
So, where are we at? I mean, that's just the thing. I'm not as upset about it. I won't pay to watch any of those things. I don't even watch the highlights because I think they're stupid. I'd only watch one of the Paul boys either get destroyed by a Diaz brother, or if they saw Dana White and Dana was going to fight him, I'd watch that. But
I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, otherwise I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
It's just like when GSP thought he could beat Matt Hughes. It's the same idea.
He did beat Matt Hughes. What planet are you on?
Later. How many times? Like the third or fourth time, once Matt had lost interest?
He's only lost 2 fights, man. And one of them was to Matt Hughes.
Okay.
The other one was to Matt Serra.
Yeah, well.
Matt's, he doesn't like Matt's.
No. Clearly, he doesn't like Matt's.
All right.
Of any kind. Wrestling mats, any of that stuff. He just likes
that is what kind of lunacy are you talking here right now that doesn't like
the
Matt?
Same lunacy you were just talking about leading in with Jake Paul. But
absolutely not. That's completely no.
I knew that Jake Paul was an idiot when he said that Myles Garrett should go watch the Nate Robinson fight, because that's what would happen to him, because those are not even the same creatures.
No, not
was
even.
it Jake that knocked out Robinson, or was it Logan?
No, that was Jake. Yeah,
it was Jake because
Logan's the one who's actually a little bit more of a. He's the one that fought.
He fought Floyd Mayweather,
and he's the one beating all the MMA
with
guys.
a no knockout clause. I mean, it was, you can't hit me here or here.
Yeah. That's Floyd's game, though. Floyd, I mean, they shouldn't even have had it because Floyd was never going to knock him out anyway. Floyd probably wanted that clause, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's bizarre that fight happened. Yeah. I mean, it's just money, right?
For me, it tarnishes Floyd's legacy as the best forever. Like, why would you even take that fight? But
you have a draw on your record now. It's like you're still undefeated, but it's a draw.
Man, you're not though, right? You're undefeated, but you also fought an internet star, so it loses some credibility. It's like being posted on World Star. It's like Kimbo Slice had a better record than Floyd Mayweather does when it comes to World Star.
We actually we put a jab in against Mayweather in the instruction booklet. I'm remembering.
Yes.
Let's get to it. Let's get to this.
Let's get to the important things. Now that Sean's blood pressure is up and he's,
I saw steam coming out of his ears.
For a minute, Andy, you had a vivid. Just walk us through Bodega Ball and just how we got here, because I think the story is fascinating. So if you could give us that story, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I had a dream. The vivid details are gone of the dream, but it was vivid enough at the time that I dreamt this game mechanic essentially, and was playing this game in the dream. woke up, wrote it down because I know how fast dreams can go away.
What were we talking here? How long ago was this?
5 years ago.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years ago. I was in the middle of my master's degree. I woke up on, whatever morning, wrote it down. I was headed to Nashville to do school that week. That night, I stayed at Ben Breeden's house so he could take me to the airport. And I actually have one of the prototypes here, and I've written down the details, and part of it involved this mat. It has a ninja, whatever.
It looks like a Ninja Turtle without the shell.
Yeah, and then we just took these. We just took some bicycle cards, and we took a Sharpie and made our first set of cards on the backside there. So you can see head, body, and then stuff has changed as we've gone. But that was like the origin of the game. It was the dream that night. We made it, we tweaked it, we figured out most of the card ratios, and there's been several big tweaks along the way.
Yeah.
But we played it that way with our kids.
Did you guys try to play it that first night?
Yeah, we played it that night. And we're like, this got some legs. This is super fun.
Yeah.
And we both had, one of these prototypes and played it with our kids and played it with our friends. And at one point, we actually, I played it with the twins. I have twins. Their second grade class. We brought in like 8 decks of them. Again, just Sharpie and bicycle cards and, hand-drawn little battle mats. And taught all the second graders how to play it. I played it on a trip. I was in Indonesia. Played it with a bunch of teens over there, and like they were playing it. And again, there was no actual design work done at that point, but it was fun enough that we just kept on doing it and had a dream to actually make it at some point. So, yeah,
progressive. And here we are now. Can you talk us through just maybe some of the gameplay?
Yeah, totally. So it took me 3 years to convince Patrick Mahoney, who's not my brother, but same last name. And actually his first name is my middle name. It took me 3 years to convince him to do the design. And so I'll show you the first, this was like take one. Here's some of the cards. These are the first cards that we made. And it was Christmas of 2019 that he had taken about a year to do that first design. This is the first mat that we had. I have a couple of those left. And just got it printed for Christmas. Gave it to my family and a bunch of friends. And this is the new one, and I'll walk you through it on this one. So this is the new mat that will be available next Friday. And the way it works is you have the various cards, right? So I'll pull those up here. These are the new cards. The backs are even cooler than the last ones. Yeah. Each card, I'll show you the cards first. You can attack the body or you can counter the body, okay? And then there'll be head or just straight up attack cards where that's where the Floyd Mayweather jab comes in the instructions, which I'll explain in a minute. Or you can attack the legs somewhere in here. There's a leg attack, leg counter. And so you take those cards and you play them on the mat against each other. I think it works better like this, right? And so if I attack the head and Brad, you counter-attack the head, then your card stays on the mat as a point, and my card gets discarded for the rest of that round. And then on the bottom of the mat, it gives you the score key, right? 2 strikes to the head, 3 strikes to the body, 4 strikes to the legs, or 5 total wins the round.
And it's 7 rounds. 7 rounds?
You can play quick brawl, which is 3 rounds, standard brawl, which is 5 rounds, or a championship brawl, which is 1st to 7. So it's actually 1st to 3, 1st to 5, 1st to 7.
Okay.
And in that championship brawl, that's where this sweet super attack comes in. It's like a one-hit kill, Mortal Kombat fatality style finishing move. That it's if you play that, you can only play it once. You can only play the attack side once, and you win the round unless it gets countered, which no one has successfully done yet. It's gonna happen.
All
It's
right.
gonna happen.
So
And then you win the round, and you still have your attack to use.
okay. Do
Yeah.
you guys shuffle? You guys shuffle up the cards, and when you're playing, you're dealt so many cards, or
Yeah. So everybody has in that championship round. I'm grabbing all my cards fell here. In that championship round, you always have all the cards at the beginning of the round. Okay. And so you're looking through your body attacks, your head attacks, your leg attacks, and you're kind of planning, trying to get inside your opponent's head. Are they going to play defense? Or are they going to play offense? And, obviously 2 strikes to the head can go really quick, but if you just attack the head all the time, you're going to get countered all the time and you're going to lose. So you have to mix it up. And that's actually, I watch a lot of MMA, and actually we were all at it, I think, right? Did all 3 of us go to that UFC fight in Seattle?
I did not go.
Were you there?
No, I was not
Okay.
there. That one, no.
It was Brad and Delansky was there, right?
Yep.
And Dunn,
Yep.
maybe?
Yep.
Anyways, there was Benson Henderson versus Nate Diaz. And I have this on one of the little videos we made where Benson Henderson punches Nate Diaz in the thigh. Like just jabs him in the thigh like 4 or 5 times and gets Nate flinching, and then he goes for the head and knocks him down. And so these leg kicks in the game too are weak. But you can kind of get a rope-a-dope going, and especially if you're playing 1st to 7, you might even give a couple rounds away to get your opponent off kilter, and then you go for the kill.
I love the strategy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so after each round, you pick all your cards back up. And also one variation with the championship round, which is the best way to play 1st to 7. After you pass first 3 rounds, what happens after the first 3 rounds of a UFC fight? They call them the championship rounds, right?
Right.
The guys are tired, the guys are beat up, and so once someone gets to 3 rounds, then the loser of that round has to give up a card. So you go in, you draw a random card from your opponent and discard it. No one knows what it is. I mean, you'll know when you have like your super attack taken or a head card taken, because you won't have that. And so it puts you at a disadvantage going into those championship rounds. And you still get your cards back at the end. And let's say I went in 1 card short, but I come back and now I'm taking a card from them for the next round.
Right.
So it kind of creates some of that battle damage going forward.
Do you guys play simultaneously at the same time when you're laying down your card? Okay.
Yep, it's one of my friends, and this is on the back of the box too. He said it's paper, rock, scissors with a black belt. Paper, rock, scissors makes it seem a little simplistic because when you add 6 options, it creates a lot of depth. But yeah, you get your card ready, you hold it up, you look at your opponent. Maybe you switch it to mess with their head so they don't know if you're going to play counter or attack. I mean, you can say 1, 2, 3. You can just know, or in the instructions say Bodega, Brawl, and throw it down on the.
Wow.
I love that.
I love this.
I'm also confident that I'm going to whip Sean's ass the first time we play. He is not.
Hey, I just want to read. I want to read this one review you have here.
Yeah.
So cool. So there's so many things I love about Bodega Brawl. It's easy to learn. You'll know how to play in 5 minutes, be an expert in 7 minutes, and be able to teach it to others in 10.
Yeah.
Wow. It's excitingly unpredictable. I never know what my opponent is going to do next, so there is no telling how each round will end. And so far from what you've explained, that sounds like just like, it sounds like you'll just be involved into it because it's just like, no, I gotta win.
Yeah. I knew we had something when we started playing it, and I could feel my heart rate go up.
Oh man, I'm
because you get in it and you're like, oh snap, like I'm on the ropes. I got a perfectly timed, head counter. Like if you're on the ropes and say like they've got 2 hits on your body and 1 hit on your head, and you have 1 hit on their head, and then you actually counter and win the round. Or the very best is if you both win at the same time, you either get 3 body hits, 2 head hits, or 5 total, whatever. Like you land at the place where you've both technically won the round, then it goes to sudden death. And then it's just the next first successful unanswered attack or effective counter. And so then it's like the final 10 seconds of a UFC fight where they're just swinging.
Yeah.
They're just swinging like crazy trying to
They know
get it.
they're
So
gonna
everything
get
just stays on the mat at that point.
Yeah.
And the very best way in which you can just talk the most trash ever is winning with a leg counter. Because it's the dumbest move in the game, but it wins sudden death all the time because, you know, you just got to time it right. It's oh my gosh, it's the best.
Is that
I imagine that's where you stand up in your seat is when you win them that leg counter, right? Like
Yeah,
you're
you
up.
point, you laugh, you mock and ridicule your opponent because
It's like catching the ace on the river when you had no business being in the.
exactly.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's like playing 7 deuce, right?
Yep.
You win all in 7 deuce, and you get 7 deuce, full house.
Andy loves the twos. Like when we're playing poker, like that's his
Pocket twos.
Yeah, pocket twos that's his money move right there. Like I watched him burn people so crazy.
I've also been burned many more times than, but just the joy of beating somebody with pocket twos because you get trip twos.
Yeah.
Beat like, you know, 2 pair ace king set up. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. You got to be sweating though if you see 2 queens and 2.
Oh yeah.
Well, in your full house, right? Then you're just in business.
I don't take it all the way every time. I've lost a lot more hands with it than one, but those little
the winning hands are the ones that stick out. I remember vividly a couple of times where you went.
Yeah, because you get the what?
Close somebody out of my house and they were
Someone's got a
they
pair of
had to walk
aces,
outside.
but a 2 came up on the flop, and you're like.
Then you just slow play.
He did. He just drug him all. I remember he got the guy so bad the guy had to go walk outside my backyard for like 5 minutes. He was so pissed.
That might be the only time that it's actually happened, but I've been living to have that moment again.
Wow. I just can't wait until we can play again there. Those were some great card games we had. So.
Oh man, best.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Man, I think I got a lot better over the last decade, so we'll see.
We'll see.
I think I've gotten a lot worse, or just a lot more unlucky.
More unlucky. Oh man, I'm really excited about this game. So what? Bodega Brawl, September 10th.
Yep.
Comic-Con out in Portland, right?
Yep. And the whole. I mean, it's maybe not the best strategy, but like that's an event I've been going to. That's where I met different game developers and designers and got a little bit know-how on what to do and how to do it. And so it just seemed like a good place to launch it. And last January, remember we're talking 5 years I've been working on this. Like this last January, I realized I need a deadline or this isn't ever going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I plopped down a deposit on having a booth in the middle of a pandemic, not even knowing if it's going to happen, but just knew we had to have that deadline. And so as it turns out, the large supply that will be being shipped from China all together wasn't going to make it. And so we made 100 Comic-Con limited exclusive first print that'll all be hand numbered, hand packaged. Nice. So that'll be fun. And then we'll have the rest of the product by Christmas. So we'll start pre-orders after next weekend, after these 100 sell out. But you can get them at bodegabrawl.com. If you want to be an early adopter, next Friday, you can buy it there and we'll ship it to you.
Man. Are you interested in running a contest maybe a little bit down the road in the future?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I'm really stoked about this. It just sounds like just intensity in a card game there that you can just capture it. Being able to talk some smack to your friends,
Let's figure out how to get a t-shirt today or in response to this episode. And then as we get closer to the second launch date in mid-November, let's give one of the games away. But let's definitely give away a t-shirt today because we got 2 cool t-shirt designs.
Yeah, we do. I'm gonna try to get one of those hand numbered copies too. I send it with my t-shirt order because I'm already in for the t-shirt. Andy designed a t-shirt that spoke to me.
I'll pull it up here. One sec.
So you got two options for t-shirts, folks. They're fantastically priced.
We got this one.
Yep, look at that. That's me right there.
Bruce and Chuck and Jackie and Jet and you. Bodega Brawl. So we could talk about greatest lists, and then we just got the logo t-shirt there.
Yep.
So let's give away one of those today.
All right.
However you guys want to do that.
Yep.
Well, Brad, I think I want to hear from the listeners. I would like to see, what do you say? Whoever that could show us on a screenshot how many shares that they've done on Facebook about this episode, take a screenshot. What's that?
Tag us and tag Bodega Brawl. Sorry,
Yes.
Andy.
It's all right.
Make sure you tag us, tag Bodega Brawl, take a screenshot, email us at guys.beer.sports@gmail.com. No later than, what is the date tomorrow anyways? Oh my goodness.
Okay, September 11th is the cutoff date.
September 11th will be the cutoff date. Whatever that we receive at that point, we'll have a look, see who has a number
It
one.
feels like the email is an extra step, but we can just see who shares. We'll just pick a random winner from whoever shares the episode.
All right, that sounds great.
Sean's not with the text sometimes, so apologies.
I am almost 50. That's right. That's right. I'm an old man. Jeez.
You guys will let me know, and we'll ship out shirts
Yeah.
when we start shipping them out that week. So
Yeah,
That sounds
good.
perfect.
Sounds good. Thanks for your generosity, Andy. We appreciate you.
yeah, for sure. Sweet. Thanks
I'm
for
looking forward to my t-shirt. I'm ready to rock that thing.
yeah. You were the first one, man. You're the first one to buy one of the t-shirt
I
pre-orders.
need
So.
that, and I need the hand number kit. Those are mine. That's my support.
Yeah,
move right
and Sean, you are one of our investors, one of our sponsors. So thanks, man.
I am. I mean, that's how much I believe in this product. I really think this is better than Uno. This is better than
Way better.
this is better than most card games out there. The only one that I'm going to put ahead of it, unfortunately, is still Texas Hold'em, but that's only because
Sure.
my heart rate's just going like that.
You have
But
to donate your money. We get it.
that's it. That's it.
I like the review that said it's like poker, war, paper, rock, scissors thrown into a Jamba Juice blender with extra protein.
Yep.
Like
That's how he summed up the game.
I'm so stoked about this. It just sounds so quick to learn, easy
Yep.
to play, and very intense. So
Yep.
Yeah, listen, if you're sleeping on playing card games, like, man, you can find competition even playing like Phase 10 or Uno or all those things. This is the spot for you. Like, pick the game
The
up.
guys
Play
who are
with
helping
friends.
me with the how to play video, we're having like a professionally produced how to play video that will hopefully be out next weekend or shortly after. They took it to the bar and played for 2 hours just in the bar, which is just a perfect size. You can throw it down. You can talk trash. You can play drinking games with it if you wanted. You can do it's easy to take with you. And then we're also in talks with an app developer to figure that out too. So stay tuned.
Fancy. More to come
Andy
from
Mahoney
Bodega Brawl.
making-
I mean, you heard it here. I'll say first. I don't know if it's true or not, but the juggernaut is coming, folks. Buckle up.
That's right.
Andy Mahoney making big moves. That's some big moves there. I'm telling you. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear this. What was I going to say here? That's the unfortunate thing when you just are just not that quick on the draw here, Brad.
No,
Did you watch that game last night? That baseball game?
that one baseball game. Yeah, I was good.
That one with the Jays and the Oakland Athletics coming here?
No.
Wow. I'm going to tell you right now, if the Jays don't make the wild card, that's the game that everybody's going to remember. That's the
Did they
game.
lose? I just want to turn my hat around so you can see how many Mariners.
Hey,
fans are on
yeah.
this ticket as
You're
opposed to-
only a game ahead of us. All right. No, we won. We were down 8. What was it?
Wait, did you say the Mariners are a game ahead of somebody?
They're a game ahead of the Blue Jays right
in the
now in the
playoff-
wild card
playoff
race. Yeah.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
go Mariners.
So I'm going to tell you right now, Brad, I'm really anxious about this, okay? Because we had Baltimore come in and we actually dropped the game. As a matter of fact, Baltimore's record is so terrible, and I think that we gave them maybe 20% of their wins.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's crazy when I look at it. They only have 32 victories all season long right now, right?
Once again, Sean, this is the spot where you just can't try to talk to me before these things happen. Every time.
Let me get back to this game. So Jays going to the bottom of the 8th. They're down 8-2. 8-2. They managed to get 6 runs back in the 8th. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hits a grand salami there to tie it up. And then, of course, Oakland goes up another 2 runs then going into the ninth, at the top of the ninth. And Marcus Semien, after George Springer and I forget who was the other one that got on base there just before him. But anyways, those 2 guys get on base. I think it was Bo Bichette and George Springer. And Marcus Semien went 0 for 4, goes 1 for 5 with a nice dinger to end it, walk-off home run. That brought me some confidence because we barely beat the Orioles. We barely beat them. We won by 1 run, the 2 games that we won, okay? And then the Tigers, we won by 1 run. Like the bats went cold. Vladdy Guerrero, he's hitting balls, but no more bombs, you know. Now all of a sudden the bats are alive, pitching a little bit suspect, but I don't know. I mean,
you just
hey. So anyway. I know. Well, Brad Hand, they had to send him down for assignment.
The Brads will always let you down in the end. That's just how it goes.
I know. You know, your namesake. Yeah, he was. What a horrible trade that was at the end. It's like, oh my gosh. You know, Jeremy said it best. It's like, yeah, he's iffy. It's like it's true.
Yeah.
And then of course the Dodgers taking. Well, right now they're fighting tooth and nail with San Fran right now for number one in their division. So I still think the Dodgers are going to take it all. I can't see why not. It'd probably be Los Angeles Dodgers, Tampa Bay Rays yet again this season.
Yeah.
What say you, Brad?
Or the Houston Cheaters. I mean, Astros.
Hey, man, that's no different than Tom Brady. That's no different than Bill Belichick. That's no different than Deflategate or Bill Belichick looking at videos to see what they're calling.
It's a little bit different.
No.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. What do you think of Bill Belichick cutting Cam Newton there this week?
I think it's on brand.
All right, elaborate.
Well, I mean, Cam Newton had a misunderstanding is how they said it with his travel policy or whatever. And
the COVID policy?
Well, yeah, just that he was supposed to get tested a certain way and he didn't, and those things. And Bill just doesn't play that game. Like, you have to be about the team and for the betterment of the team. And if you're not, then you can go somewhere else. I mean, it's the same. It feels like Jamie Collins all over again, right? Remember Jamie Collins was like, I deserve more money. And he was like, oh, okay, you do deserve more money. You can go play in Cleveland for 4 years.
Right.
Like,
right. We touched that.
That's the Belichick move, right? So it's not a surprise to me. I think he thinks that, maybe at worst is a draw in talent-wise at this point between Mac Jones and Cam Newton. He trusts Mac Jones. He doesn't trust Cam Newton. Availability is the biggest thing for Bill Belichick. If you're not going to show up and be able to play, then you're not going to play for him. So
does Cam Newton have a new team yet, or is he just jobless right now?
Jobless right now.
Jobless. Wow. He says that he's willing to be a backup somewhere. I think, everyone's maybe a little bit nervous about what he is injury wise. And so the thing about the NFL is that if you're not on a roster, if you're on a roster week 1, your salary is guaranteed for the year. If you sign week 2, your salary is not guaranteed, and it's week by week. So I would imagine Cam probably lands somewhere after week 1 so that, whoever takes a risk on him isn't on the hook for all the money.
Big money. Yeah. My biggest thing that I thought, like, Bill Belichick has to be the greatest expert at answering the media's questions, okay? Because we just saw Urban Myers.
Because he doesn't do it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Urban Myers, because you can see great coach in college, comes up to the NFL level, basically tells the media, yeah, I made decisions on the vaccine protocols and those that didn't get vaccinated. And all of a sudden now the NFL's investigating the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, they came out and said he misspoke, that he didn't do that.
Yeah.
They
opened up an investigation, right? Bill Belichick, when he was asked point blank, he's like, no, that had nothing to do with it. I mean, he could be lying. I think it would be a terrible decision to play poker. It would be a terrible decision to play poker with Bill Belichick. I think you'll take all your chips. That man can bluff.
Bill Belichick 100% took into account someone's vaccine status. If there was an equal spot between 2 players and one was vaccinated and one wasn't, the vaccinated player got that spot. That's easy math. But I would say that's across the league because you can't run that risk. I mean, look at what happened in other sports right now. You've got the Boston Red Sox who are, nipples deep in a playoff run, all of a sudden losing 9 players to COVID. right? You
I
just
know.
can't have that happen. And they're not going to make any concessions this year. There's no rescheduling of games.
Mhm.
You know, everyone last year was, you know, there was a bunch of moving parts and everyone was able to be more flexible. And this year they're saying, hey, there's a way out. And if you're not taking that way out, you're penalized. And so you can't run the risk, one, of a player that's important to you missing a game, right? That's important. But two is you can't afford that player causing an outbreak and then causing you having to forfeit a game, because with 17 games, every game counts, you know. And if you're going to drop a game because you made a decision to employ someone that, you know, for whatever reason didn't want to, take their own precautions, it's an unfortunate thing. So
Yeah. I was just thinking, right? Like hockey, basketball, especially baseball. I mean, with 162 games, you know, you're going to lose games, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're 20 games above 500 in baseball, you're probably in a good chance to make a wild card or some sort of playoff berth, right? Hockey, you get 90 points, so 2 points for every victory, 1 point for an overtime loss, right?
you get a point for losing in overtime.
In overtime, yeah.
Oh, you get a point for losing?
In overtime, yeah.
No, you get a point for losing.
In overtime.
That's almost as bad as soccer.
In
You
overtime.
get a point for tying. You get a point for tying in
Yeah,
soccer, but you get a
that's
point
it.
for losing in hockey. See,
That's
that's why hockey's my fifth favorite sport. That's terrible. Why'd you reward a loser?
Because I
Thursday.
agree with you. That was the rules back in the day, but since I don't know when they just introduced that there with the shootout and everything, they decided they have to do this because it was a 1 point if you tied, right?
Yeah.
You both tied.
Which
it was
is
1
weird,
point.
but okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 1
We don't
point.
give
No,
any
it's not
people
weird.
losing a Bodega Brawl, just to be clear.
Thank you, Andy. That's why your game is superior.
Listen,
Hockey is now moved to my sixth favorite game, with Bodega Brawl being the fifth.
listen, Bodega Brawl's up there. I'm going to put it up there. That's top five. That's top five. All right, there we go.
It should be in
Top
front of
five.
hockey because they don't.
No,
get
man, I'm
points to
Canadian.
losers.
Come on, man.
You don't
I
get
mean,
points to losers.
man.
You're a fighter first, John.
It's gone up above CFL. How about that?
All right, that's fine.
There
They
we go.
probably also get points for losing.
No, you don't. But you know what's happening? Like, you know,
I feel like in the CFL, if you get a 15-yard loss, you get 3 points. I think that's the thing.
No,
right?
no, but
That's a
you do
real
get
thing.
you do get a point. Like, you know, with a field. This is too much to explain right now to you because you're just going to be all lost in this. Okay, I don't.
I'm not
have the
going to be
time.
lost. It makes sense to me. It's just dumb. So
No. Well, here's what's dumb. Okay, so Thursday, the Argonauts were supposed to play the Edmonton Elks. That's their new name, right? So they switched from the Eskimos to the Elks, right? So it's the move, it's the flavor, right?
is Eskimo a PC term that they?
It's a derogatory term, yes. Yeah. So they switched it over to the Elks. So the Elks, just like Boston, they had something like 9 or 12 players that were just tested positive for COVID because Alberta is the wild, wild west, okay, of Canada. And so they just brought
the
them
what now?
out.
What is it? Can you just do it real quick? It's the what?
The wild, wild west. That's guns a-blazing. Boo, boo, boo. Yosemite Sam. Wild, wild west, right? Although Yosemite Sam is from California, it's still the west. I don't know that people wouldn't think of it as Texas. But, yeah. Anyways, but so they had to cancel the game. They have to reschedule this game, okay? So it's crazy that this is now the logistics of what the CFL looks like going through with this.
But that's
Coming
because
up.
they chose to not play last year.
Well, that's a
And we talked about this at that time, that they were missing a spot for the learning curve. But
absolutely that's a fair point. You know, that's a fair point. But Labor Day Classic coming up, Hamilton Tiger Cats, Toronto
Canada
Argonauts.
celebrates Labor Day also.
Yes.
You guys celebrate every holiday we do? It's like the weekend before though. Like
No. Okay, so you have
Is your
Columbus
Labor Day on Friday? Was your Labor Day Friday?
No, it's
Is it
Monday. It's Monday. Just like our
Okay.
Thanksgiving is Monday, but that's your Columbus Day.
Yeah.
So, or do they call it Founders Day or whatever?
No,
the heck?
it's
Discovery Day.
Indigenous
Discovery Day.
Yeah.
Discovery Day, right? Yeah. So,
No, I think it's Indigenous People Day now.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Probably not bad. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our Thanksgiving. There's that day. But then your Thanksgiving, we celebrate your Black Friday. We don't have the day off like you guys. We're able to just run out there, you know, Yeah, but we'll do Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But yeah,
Because you love to spend America's money.
well,
Anyway.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys could stroll on up here, watch a CFL game if you want. We still can't go down for an NFL game unless we fly.
I don't think anymore. I don't think we can go north anymore. I think they closed that off.
There was a real short window that we were allowed to go to Canada,
Yeah.
and it's closed again.
Well, it's because, I don't know, when America should be leading the vaccination in the whole entire world. We're at 77% here.
I don't know why you would think that.
I don't know. I was thinking that, I was.
You have not been paying attention.
I have been. I'm just really shocked that New York and
found on a country that threw tea in the water because they're upset at it. You think we're going to this is the move we're going to make? We're going to be the front leaders in the vaccine?
Listen, man, I always laugh about your banking history, okay? Because we went federally, right? That's how we went. We only have 5 national banks. Where you guys decided your banking, the way that you're going to do it, either it's going to be states or federally, to a dual.
Yeah.
You let this be decided by a duel. That's how American is America.
That's why Bodega Brawl is going to be the #1 game in the world, because everyone loves a good duel.
That's it. It's so true.
That's how it works.
Good. It's good.
Andy, I want to quickly talk to you. You and I are NBA fans, more importantly, Portland Trailblazer fans.
Yeah.
We're also charter members of the anti-Laker Blazer Club.
Yes.
I wanted to get your take on what's been happening with Portland in the offseason, if you think they've done enough to make Dame happy, or if there's another move coming. What does your gut say?
Oh man, I feel like Dame really truly does want to win with a team like Portland. Like I think, I mean, that someone just put that stat up that he's led the Blazers to the playoffs 8 years in a row with no NBA all team defense, no other all stars. I mean, it's crazy what he's done. So I think his druthers would be to win with Portland, but I think he'll make a decision in those first 2 months as to whether he thinks that can actually happen. And I think we'll end up with a Harden situation, right? Where whatever the trade deadline is, he leaves around Christmas time.
Yeah,
I don't know the timeline on that, but
he takes that stance.
I think he'll make a decision early on.
I think he'll make a decision. I think he wouldn't be a distraction, because I don't think that's his nature. I think he gets traded in the offseason, but
Dame Lillard.
Do you think he'd finish out?
Well,
the
maybe
season?
publicly. I think maybe you're right that he'll know in the first 2 months. I don't know that he would publicly, like Harden did, come out.
Yeah,
he might say to the ownership, and they might be able to turn him for something that.
Yeah. I think he'd definitely play it differently than Harden for sure. And he's not coming in. Remember, Harden didn't he miss a couple games, and he was all bad or whatever. And he's obviously not going to do that. Yeah, I think he's got a little more character than James Harden. I think he's going to buy
in to see what Chauncey has to bring and all those.
Yeah, exactly.
See what the new pieces end up looking like. It still wouldn't terribly surprise me if CJ McCollum gets moved before the season starts.
I hope so.
I could see that.
I
love CJ, but
and so does Dame, right? That's the move. And I also love CJ, but you can't have Norman Powell, CJ, and Dame. That just defensively isn't going to cut it.
What does the starting 5 even possibly look like right now? Because it seems like you start. I mean, unless they stick CJ as the 6th man or whatever. Who's the dude? Is it Lou Williams? That's just the awesome 6th man. Could be a starter anywhere, but he leads the bench really well. Yeah. Like if CJ could do that, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. But the problem with that is that you're paying him $30 million a year. Like he can't. Your 6th man can't be the $30 million.
But you just can't run CJ, Norm, and Dame.
No.
And because then
as
you
much
got.
As I love CJ. I love Norm way more.
Yeah. Who do you do?
Yeah, I think you get rid of CJ. But
I think.
What about the whole CJ Ben Simmons rumor? Think there's any credibility to that?
Yeah, I do actually. I think Philly really wants Dame back in that deal, but I think that's a terrible idea for Portland.
You do think it's terrible?
It's hilarious that he refused to come to Toronto, Ben Simmons, because there was
off that this morning. This morning he came out and said he'll play for any team that's not Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him. There's a lot of drama in Philadelphia. Philadelphia's best window to win is when the Raptors won. because you had a great team on that team. Like that was a great team, really put together. But Joel Embiid is I don't know, still mentally developing. I guess like he's still very immature as a player. You know what I'm saying? Like
he's not. I don't know if he's immature as a player. He's immature as a person. But
yeah, and there's times and places for things. I don't know. Miami, I think they probably look a lot better with Kyle Lowry coming over there. The Bulls look a lot better.
Yeah, the Bulls are going to have the best fast break game in the league.
Yeah,
with Zach LaVine and now Derek Jones flying. I mean, Andy can tell you, the Derek Jones dunks are you can't even believe what you've seen. It's so crazy.
Awesome.
And now the addition of DeMar DeRozan as well. I mean,
yeah.
You can't just sit there and say DeMar was playing in San Antonio.
And you can say you want about Lonzo Ball, but he's still a talented point guard, right? He's going to dish that ball to those three specifically. You know, his dad overshadows his talent. The other two brothers are what they are, but
I just want the Lakers to lose, man.
Oh,
yeah.
These two super teams, man.
We were just talking about that. That was a team. That was a team built for 2010. That's what that team is. Holy
where has Russell Westbrook ever won at? That's the case. That's what you need to ask yourself.
Why would you even take that assignment on?
I don't know. They're just grasping at straws. I mean, I think back to James Harden wasn't who he is today, when those three played together, but Kevin Durant was still arguably the second best player in the league in Oklahoma City, and they could never get over, and it was all Russell Westbrook that was holding that train back. I just don't see
what's the latest on Durant? Have the Nets decided anything with his COVID stuff? Did you hear about that?
No.
He might not be able to play because you have to be vaccinated to be at Barclays.
Yeah.
And he's not getting
vaccinated?
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard something about that.
I think it'd be interesting. It's there's three places. One of them is San Francisco and one of them is Brooklyn. I feel like there's a third. Maybe it's New York, the Knicks. Maybe it's Madison Square Garden. There's three spots I think where you have to be vaccinated to play or to be in the building, and so those players are going to have to be. But you would assume the other players have to be that come in from the team, also other teams to play there. I don't know how it would work.
Yeah.
To not. So that's such a fascinating, nuanced debate for those leagues to come out and say.
Pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, and going back to that whole thing we talk about just with football, Tampa Bay is boasting 100% vaccine rate for players, staff, and, executives.
Wow.
And it would be very difficult, you would imagine, for them to bring in someone mid-season as an injury replacement or as a free agent signing that wasn't vaccinated, right? Because they have different rules now, not having unvaccinated players. They have a pretty much wide open campus and they can all travel together and there's no, all that kind of stuff. So, you're going to see a competitive advantage for that, which
I don't know.
I don't know that it's right or it's wrong. It's an interesting development.
I think it makes sense though, if you don't want to be doing that whole entire I got to isolate. I got to be away. Test.
Yeah, even now, if you're vaccinated and your exposure, you're out maybe 5 days or until you can test negative twice in 24 hours. That's way better than a 10-day guaranteed push.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, it's such a challenging time right now to say what is right, what is wrong. But it's crazy. I mean, who would have thought that COVID would have this much influence on sports and just globally in the world, markets?
It's just a pandemic, right? And I mean, none of us are old enough to have survived a pandemic.
No.
Right? I mean, I think there's limited people in the world probably that have ever seen a pandemic, being that it was, 103 years ago was the last time we probably has seen a worldwide pandemic. So it's uncharted territory. People are handling it how they're going to handle it. I was laughing about it just yesterday, thinking about, last May I was setting up some stuff at work and, I had a pretty firm construction schedule that I had to have done by September because we were going to have these events happening September and October, November that we couldn't have construction during, and how those all got canceled. And I thought it was just so silly that, even in May and June of last year, I was still planning for things to be happening that I couldn't work around. And, stuff that still hasn't happened over a year later. It's, pretty, it's pretty interesting to think back on.
Yeah. I just wanted to get on. Okay, so we got our fantasy football happening here shortly, right? Guys, your sports little league going on. Do you have any tips coming into fantasy football coming up? I'm sure drafts are happening this weekend for most people.
Yeah. Follow
I'm
your
listening.
gut.
I need all the tips I can get.
Yeah. Know who you want to have player-wise and don't be afraid to reach.
Would you draft a quarterback in the first round?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've seen guys take Patrick Mahomes in the first round.
Yeah.
I think if you're in the back half, if you're playing in a 10 or 12 team league, and you're drafting 9 or 10, it makes some sense to take Mahomes if you want, because you're not going to get back around to get him, get a quarterback in the third. With that being said, I think, there's probably 5 running backs that I would draft. And so if you're drafting 6 or deeper, I think you start receivers or, maybe a Darren Waller or a Travis Kelce at tight end.
I was thinking the exact same thing about running back, because especially with the utility running backs that they have out there that are just both dual threats, that's going to get you more points.
The wide receiver class is so deep, right? And so I only play PPR leagues, which is point per reception. So, I mean, my view is a little bit skewed that way, but I think most people play PPR anyway these days. The purists play the non-PPR, but that's a harder catch.
Yeah, I think you could wait until about the third round in order to go for a quarterback. There's going to be a plethora.
Yeah, dude, all this depends on when you're drafting. Like last night I had a draft and I was drafting dead last in a 10 round or in a 10 team league, so I was picking 10, 11, and then I didn't pick again until 30 and 31.
So I was in a time capsule, so I have no idea when our draft is going on.
Yeah, well, we haven't scheduled it yet because no one signed up for the league, so we have that going for us.
Well, I'm signing up today, so.
Well, that's why. So until we have some interest, I'm not scheduling a draft, but it'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday of this coming week.
Okay. Andy, you want to join our league?
Ooh. I am doing one league, and that's probably all I can do.
Andy has enough on his plate.
That's exactly it. He has the game coming out, all that good stuff.
If I joined your league, it'd be on autopilot, which probably isn't good for anybody. So
yeah. I want competitive Andy if we're gonna have Andy. I don't want autopilot.
Yeah.
Well, I think this wraps up another week here. I don't know.
It does good. I think find our friend Andy and Bodega Brawl at Instagram and Facebook.
Yep.
Make your orders, put them in. Don't beat me to the game, but if you guys, I guess I'll say that if the one edition, the first 100 are sold out, I'll be happy for you, but I'll also be a little bit sad. My t-shirt's on the way. Yours should be too. Share this episode. We'll get you guys a t-shirt out for the person with the most shares. So we'll be paying attention to that. That shirt should ship out the week of the September 12th. Is that right? Andy?
Yeah. It'll be. We'll ship them out that Monday.
Yeah, sometime that week we'll get them out there. So you'll get your shirt quick if you share this week.
Yep.
And thanks again to our sponsors, Bodega Ball, Flyers, and Smooth My Balls, which is I always make Sean say it because I can't say it without laughing. But there we go. All right, till next time, kids. Be good at it. Thanks, Andy.
All right, thank you.
Righto.
You've listened to the podcast, but now it's time to visit us in our virtual sports bar. Get all of our info at guysbeersports.com, where you can find all the ways to connect with us. Watch for live conversations with Brad and Sean that happen throughout the week, and join in with your favorite local beer. You can share your thoughts in the conversation comments with your own uploaded videos, or even join us as a guest live commentator. The GBS Virtual Sports Bar is open for business. Come on in, boys and girls.